Good evening, everybody, and welcome to our joint study session with our awesome youth council. I always look forward to our meeting with each of you and to hear all the exciting ideas that you have, because you definitely have great imagination and definitely think outside the box. So I appreciate that. We all appreciate that. So in compliance with state law, city council special and regular meetings are held in a hybrid format with in-person, telephonic, and virtual options for public viewing and participation. What we'll do is we'll call this study session to order, and we'll just go around and have everybody introduce themselves as we go around. Start with Chuck.
Chuck Ejadi, and I'm the Youth Council Advisor.
Hi, my name is Lydia Burhe, and I'm the Youth Council.
Hi, I'm Cal. I'm the Activities Coordinator for Youth Council.
Hi everyone, my name is Saraf and I'm the treasurer in Youth Council.
Hi, my name is Ava, and I'm chair and person number 13 in the Youth Council.
I'm Kai. I'm scribe for the Youth Council.
I am Isaac. I am the Isaac Valdez Arredondo. I am the vice chair of the Youth Council.
Hello, my name is Matiga Kenneth, and I am a member of the Youth Council.
And my name is Silas, and I'm the chair of the Youth Council.
Good evening. I'm Jeff Wagner. I'm your mayor.
Sean Smith, I'm on the council.
Hi, Jennifer Harjahausen on council.
Joseph Momo on the council.
Beth Porter, City Council.
Christina Salt, City Council.
Jacqueline Ball, I'm the staff liaison for the wonderful Youth Council.
Regan Boley, city manager.
Well, thank you all very much. Krista's hiding over there on the dais. And so with that, we are just going to turn this over. I'm going to turn over to Silas as chair and let you lead it.
Awesome.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, we prepared a PowerPoint with a summary of what we've been up to recently. Yeah, once that gets up and running, it's good. Cool. Yep, as you said, we're the Youth Council, and yeah, that's it. Cool. Yep.
So we did trunk or treat at Kent Lake and Kentwood this year, or last year, sorry. And we ran as the Scooby-Doo team with the car. The car was a big hit. Everybody was really shocked we actually had the mystery machine. And even when we were driving away, kids were still screaming, just random ones like, oh my God, that's the mystery machine. Our costumes are great. We had all of the main characters. And it was a really fun event. Kentwood was definitely more successful than Kent Lake, with more students overall and more cars as well.
How many kids do you guys interact with?
How many? I'm not really sure about an exact number. I know Kent Lake had about half the amount of cars and kids as Kentwood. I would say for Kentwood, it was pretty crowded the entire time and maybe ran on a little bit longer too.
The kids still know who we do?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We're really excited.
Wow.
At least their parents will.
That's a cartoon.
They just mentioned it.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Been around a long time.
The Youth Council cleaned up the road by Covington Community Park in November, around November 6th. It was pretty successful. There wasn't much trash to pick up, but we did pick up a bit.
So we also participated in the tree lighting. We were able to continue our yearly thing of letters to Santa. Generally, I feel like there was more children overall than last year, and we were able to successfully get every letter to the original writer without any missing addresses or anything that gets sent back to us. So I say we did pretty good.
On February 2nd and 3rd, we went to Olympia for LIAC. And on Sunday, we started off by having a roundtable discussion to discuss things that affect students. I was in the student wellness part of the discussions, and we got to talk about how arts and sports, where the funding has been reduced by a lot of districts, and how we can prevent this from happening. And then after that, we just went to different rooms learning how to lobby, how to write a bill, how to analyze a bill. And this really just helped us, well, me speaking for one. So that helped me learn that state procedure is not as complex as I thought it was. And then after that, we went bowling. And on Monday, we interviewed our representatives, and we also got to ask them some questions that affect us as students as well. And we were able to learn a lot. Yep.
So the student art show, we haven't done this yet. It's gonna be next month on March. And so the youth council is planning to collect art made by students and hanging them up in different businesses. And also the students can go to the businesses and like collect their artwork after it's been showcased.
So, for the Great Kindness Challenge before our Olympia trip, I created a video of all of the youth councils together, encouraging people to spread kindness in our community.
Hopefully it works.
No, it won't work, but hopefully. We'll have the link.
Oh, I know what it's.
Maybe you can access it outside of the PowerPoint.
That's exactly.
I'm gonna reshare. Sorry.
While he's doing that, maybe we can hear how you learned to spell Santa this year. We
Yeah.
saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last year, I
It's a
kept
clause.
misspelling
It's
it.
clause.
Yeah, I kept misspelling it.
Okay.
Like Santa Claus?
Or both.
Satan.
both.
I
was having a hard time spelling it.
It's a lot of work being Santa,
Yeah.
so.
Good enough. It wasn't like that movie where he spits the A.
Yes, of course.
Right. There we go.
The Philadelphia Eagles. I think
What's that?
the Philadelphia Eagles won.
No.
We know who you were rooting for now.
That's a great response.
We're not counting like the jack.
Okay, one more time for the top.
Over 41,000 and 115 countries have all participated in spreading kindness across the globe.
I'm sorry.
I apologize to the audience.
get the.
Is that what you're talking about? Or I don't know what.
It's nicotine.
Okay, it's anything. Okay, got it. Okay, just making sure I didn't know.
Yes. And I assume schools are aware, they're just choosing not to control those during,
Yeah.
during what is it, passing?
Cafeterias and
Yeah,
lunch.
sometimes
lunches.
people, there are administrators that will
Mhm.
kind of patrol around,
Yeah.
but they usually don't like catch it all the time. Like I've walked in the bathroom, like after an late drill,
Right.
I walked into the bathroom, there's 5 guys in there, just like all vaping.
And
It's like,
there's
great.
there's a big
that.
majority of people, like a big group that not all the staff can take control of it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of students vaping, so
Yeah.
that makes it harder for everyone.
The passages, see the vape, it's in your pocket, so you can just like excuse yourself.
It's not even just bathrooms. I've genuinely seen students like go under desks and just start doing it in the middle of class.
Wow.
This sounds great.
It does, it's very strong.
But you can't,
But-
if you don't see it, you can't judge the 6 people around.
I understand that.
Okay, so that's a good topic to bring up, because we'll be meeting with the school board, I think on March 18th. Tentatively set for March 18th.
Is there, so the request is a possible drug rehab
Right.
program. Is there more to it, though, that you're hoping the school could do to prevent it from happening?
Like partial like consequences and stuff.
Yeah, possibly that. I know through personal experience, a friend and I had a conversation with a principal of a high school in a different district than Kent about this issue, and her response was, at least those students are in school. So that's tough to deal with, right? are you seeing administration focusing on this issue? Like, is that your hope that they spend more time addressing it? Yeah, you know, I'm trying to think as we meet with the school board, asking them to do a drug rehab program, that's a big ask, right? Is there something else that the city council could encourage the school board to do?
Well, last year, I believe they tried to use like alarms that could detect the smoke coming from the vapes, but they don't have those anymore.
Those weren't successful. I was at Kent Lake last year and they had them and it didn't work.
They don't do the trick.
They don't do the trick.
It's not smoke, it's not smoke, it's
Yeah.
smell that needs to get.
Is it possible to have a search done? Like, if you can like search pockets, especially backpacks.
I think you have to.
Or
Probably.
when,
Yeah.
or and when the students are entering the building, there can be somebody to search if it's possible. If it's possible, I don't think it is, but if it's possible, like somebody to search them or anything that can detect the vape or anything that they have.
So what I'm hearing is it's impacting your school experience, probably your learning environment, if they're actually doing it in class. So we need to talk to them about somehow upping compliance at a minimum in the classroom.
Right.
I mean, I just top of my head, I think they should assign a staff member for every passing period to just check every bathroom. You know, if you guys are running into it fairly regularly, just going to the bathroom, you're gonna, I wouldn't suspect you're gonna find it in there too. You know, you can't tell if something's working unless you're measuring it. So, you know, they need to come up with some metrics. You know, how many students do they have that, you know, or have this problem? And then start testing to see if the things they're doing, carrots and sticks, are having any effect on, you know, how they're doing. I would think, you know, when I was in school, if you were caught and you're smoking or doing drugs, you risked your after-school activities. And I assume the schools are doing that still, but maybe I'm out of date.
Maybe they're not in it.
Yeah, I mean, they couldn't, yeah, that could be, and they may not be able to do that anymore, take their activities. There's some equity issues and things, but
When there's so many students who don't care about their grades and are still
Yeah.
being able to participate in the after school activities, that's the other problem.
Do any of you guys know what the consequence is if you're caught vaping at school?
Yeah, you fill out like this paperwork that says like I won't do it again.
Wow.
They do it.
Yeah.
And then what?
What happens?
They pass it on to
What's
me
the
then?
next step if they are caught again?
They do the paperwork again,
That's not working.
and then get like detention.
yeah,
So yeah, that's the problem that we're having. Nothing's happening.
so just real quickly, one of the things, it's not ideal. Besides, one of the things you're gonna find in the military is that if one person screws up, their whole company gets punished for that. So, you know, it's possible, you know, your homeroom, if you get your student, you know, one of your classmates gets caught, the whole homeroom gets punished for that. And that eventually creates a culture where you start to self-regulate and go, you need to get in line because we're all losing privileges. It's not ideal, but it does start to get, because right now, you know, you're not really empowered to change that. It doesn't sound like the administrator, I mean, we got lots on their plate, but if there starts to be an expectation that others are going to be impacted and that we're going to be watching, that can change behavior. As to searching, you know, you guys have constitutional rights like everyone else, and so you can't assume you're guilty just as you come into school. So that's probably not gonna take place, but we'll talk to the school board about this.
Christina.
So yes, searching is unconstitutional, you have our rights, but I mean, if we can have traffic cameras in intersections, can there be cameras? Is that ethical?
In the bathroom?
No.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously not bathrooms,
Yeah.
but in the classrooms at the very least.
Some school districts across the country do have.
Yeah, there's cameras in the buildings. I know
No.
Kent Lake used to have them in the classroom. I don't know why they took them out, but they used to have them in a classroom. But the problem is that they would only have one. There were so many blind spots with it.
Yeah.
That the cost of adding cameras was just ridiculous, and then maintenance. I hate to say this, you've all met your classmates. Those cameras are a fun target to throw things at, so. But it's one of those things, it's the cameras are all in the hallways, but outside of that, it's just
But
hard
it's a
to
good
maintain.
conversation to have with the school board, because the other thing you have to be careful of is, I mean, it's to bring it up, but if I were sitting on the school board, the other thing you have to worry about is each of you, I'm sure you're not doing it because you're bringing it up, but then the bullying aspect of those who are doing it, because I don't know how it is in the high schools, but I know in the middle schools, the bullying seems to be rising even more, even starting in 3rd and 4th grade in the elementary schools. So, but yes, we definitely can bring that up to the school board about this, because that is a big concern. And if you have other concerns, I mean, that you want us to bring up. Yes.
This one's more about like school safety. Recently, there's been a lot of lockdowns that happened before 2025, and then recently at the Kentridge, after a Kentridge basketball game, once the game was over, someone like fired a shot into the air, and I think believe there was a fight at Kentridge that night.
Yeah.
Oh, heard about that.
Yeah, there was. They detained somebody the next day or two from that. I don't know whatever happened to them.
I don't know what happened, but I just know there's been like a lot of like intense violence at school.
Yes.
Ask about that. Are you finding that the intense violence, like when I was in high school, it was a physical thing. There was actual hands being thrown, right? But that was kind of it. With the lockdowns and everything, are we seeing? Did the physical go down because now the more serious threats are up, like somebody bringing a weapon that can seriously harm somebody? Are you finding that there's bullying, like your standard bullying, or are you seeing that there's more extreme cases?
I'd say more extreme cases. I mean, nothing's being fired, but weapons have been brought to school multiple occasions before.
So like if I were to just go with me here, if I were to snitch on someone, would I be worried about them beating me up, or would I be worried about them using a weapon on me?
I think both. I would say both, because fighting still happens.
Fighting, that's
Yeah.
Do you have lockers at Kent Lake?
Yes, they do.
Yeah, I mean, when I went to school, it was Southern California, it was violent, like, but the school took pretty significant precautions, like we didn't have lockers, and that sucked really badly because we all had books back then, unlike now. So we had to carry all of our books on our backs. And because there were gang tensions, there was a lot of focus on what we wore, anything that could be affiliated with anything like that. So, from my perspective, I think there are bigger things that schools can do to protect our kids, and maybe they need to lean into some of our schools across the country that have actually been dealing with this stuff for decades in ways that allow you a safe space. And yeah, because that's ridiculous.
We were going through your presentation and we kind of stopped. Did you have more on your presentation before we continue?
No, there was nothing else. Just
okay, because I don't want to continue the conversation. You have more stuff to bring up.
no, that was it. That was
Okay.
the last slide. Yeah.
Okay. And then
So, so the question for you all, has there ever been any kind of we used to call them pep rallies, but school gathering, like official school gatherings, where this topic has been brought up, not necessarily from the administration, but from you all having an opportunity to stand up as a unified voice with the administration? And I don't know how they do that, but it seems like if it's just a small percentage of students that are causing problems, and maybe it isn't, maybe it's bigger than that, I don't know, but we constantly hear this concern from you all, and our hearts go out to like, for the, I mean, is there something else that you guys can do to present one large unified voice to your principal, the district? I didn't know if that was ever a platform you all were given as a student body.
Cal, what was happening for like lunchtime? Like I saw a folder, like folders being out during lunchtime. It looked like something was going on.
What
Not-
folders?
What was it? What was it? Because my mom told me it looked like a protest setup, but I
Oh.
didn't know what it was.
Yeah, and I'm not necessarily saying, I'm not necessarily thinking protest. I'm more like, hey, at one of these like groups, again, I'm gonna call it a pep rally because that's what we used to call it back then, but when the student body gathers in the gym and, you know, the teachers or principal are talking, assembly, thank you. Yes, that's right. Not a pep rally, because that. But like a school assembly where they allow a group of students to come up and talk about it with their peers, in front of their peers, or having some kind of a dialogue.
Oh, what was? I understand. I just want to know like what was going on.
Yeah.
I don't have any idea
No
what you're
idea.
talking about.
Okay.
Yes. More on the bathroom.
Mhm.
So we have people eating in the bathroom.
Mhm.
That's another thing, like, like this, well, Kevin is in Covington. Can you start like when you're talking to the board, a campaign to be like, no food in the bathroom?
Why are they?
Well, yeah,
There's no room in the cafeteria.
There's plenty of room.
Is there?
Yeah, especially since seniors and juniors are always eating off campus, there's so much room.
Yeah, so why do they even?
Yeah, why would they?
People just.
It's a good
They, like,
question.
sometimes they skip.
Like,
It's
just lay down and eat their lunch.
I hate to say this, because
Yeah.
some of the students just, it's an antisocial thing. They want to be away from people. And unfortunately, they're choosing the bathrooms, but the bathrooms are, it's just.
I've had an incident where I saw on the Instagram page, people were posting like an invitation to a bathroom party at Kentwood.
Did anybody know?
I don't know. It said something like bring your own weed and like people were meeting in there to have like a like playing music. I think I heard somebody brought a speaker or something like that. I have no idea.
You definitely get caught with a speaker.
I
I've seen it.
Don.
Yeah, these are great ideas, and we'll definitely bring them up with the school board. Had another, as you mentioned, I wanted to bring up, but I'm wondering about things, additional pressure that can be brought. So each of these 4 high schools have student government, presidents. I would encourage each of those presidents to talk to the other 4 and develop some type of task force or some type of communications between them to share ideas. And then when those 4 schools, say this is a problem consistent across all our schools, you can bring it up to the board too. And with a more unified voice, instead of just, a couple hundred at one school, you got, what is it, 2,000 students at each school. So that's 8,000 high school students saying, these are real problems. And you have your president sign it and things need to be addressed. And then have the school boards, and we'll talk about it. What is the current state? What's the current reality of this problem, and then what can we do to address it? The other thing you guys mentioned was some funding being cut for arts and sports. Did you want us to look at that too, or was there specific programs that are being cut in specific sports?
Most of this, like when I mentioned that, clarified, I'm sorry. It's people from other districts, but I think Kent Street District. So it was mostly like during the roundtable discussion.
Okay.
If there's, you should bring it up just in case there's something.
Sure.
Yeah, that
Funding
makes
for these
sense.
arts program. Okay.
Something that comes to mind for me, it's not exactly art or sports,
Mhm.
but I know mental health resources have been limited from the years. I know my freshman year, my school used to have, I think, 1 or 2 on-campus therapists for the students, and it has changed to online therapists. And I know many students have wanted more mental health support, and online doesn't really cut it for most people.
No, it doesn't need that. So that was gonna be my, a question I had. Would it be beneficial if you had someone who experienced mental health, and they say an adult who had gone through a situation where they were contemplating suicide, and they actually went through a very long stretch, and it took about a dozen friends to pull them out of this situation. And he is now going across the country to speak about that, mostly to middle school and high school kids, but I don't know if that's something that Kentwood or Kent Lake would be interested in. He's a former NBA basketball player. He's very, very good at when he speaks, and he brings real life experiences. But so I've talked to Dr. Berenger about it, but it's like, would that be something that you feel would be beneficial to have someone come and speak at the school?
Yes.
For sure.
Okay.
There is, sorry.
That could be set up.
There is just one thing. I know many students in my school like to skip things like that. They
Yes,
just don't show
that's
up.
the, in a
I
lot of
would say
them.
maybe even like 1/4.
Yeah.
People just don't show up to assemblies or school functions like that.
And a lot of them are the ones that probably need to hear that.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. All right. You want to be?
I was just saying, since it's an NBA player, that's gonna make people show up more,
Mhm.
even more, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, he used to play for the Supersonics. for
None of them know
a couple
who the
years.
Supersonics are.
Yeah. They're coming back. Regan.
So a good message for the council to take to the Kent School Board, these are all issues. How do these issues impact your learning experience? I think that's a good message for us to kind of coalesce around.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Mental health definitely affects how effectively you can get your schoolwork done, because your personal issue, schoolwork adds to the stress of your own personal issues. That's what I learned from last year.
Silence.
Can I just, so like stress in going to school even?
No, like the classwork was overwhelming.
I'd like to add on to that. I think for me, I'm someone who does a lot of like AP classes. I've been seeing a lot like more recently. It's been a lot more normalized that you should take as many AP classes as you can. And a lot of people, they fall into that trap and they realize this is the worst experience ever. And we're stressed from just the multiple college classes that they're taking basically. And then the problem is it seems to be getting worse because now that more people are getting out of it, they're like, well, at least colleges accepted me. So they tell the other people, you need to take more AP classes, and then colleges might accept you more. So I think that's a big issue of it's being normalized just to take as many APs as you can. And then once running start comes in, take running start immediately. You need to take running start right now. And then, but then for the classes you do take at your high school, take AP classes as well. So you can get as much as you can all in those 2 years.
Raise your hand if you're in running start. Yep.
So-
Raise your hand if you've taken AP classes. Yep.
Yeah.
So the pressure from the school district pushing that, it actually even starts at kindergarten where they're telling kids to decide what they want to do when they're in kindergarten and what college they're gonna go to.
So these issues like the vaping in the restrooms and the fighting and the lockdowns, how does that impact your learning experience?
I'd like to comment on that right now. So today at Kent Lake, there was a fight and a big problem is just the crowding. I couldn't go to my classroom. Basically it was like this intersection where it's like, it was by the stairs.
Yeah, my son, they landed on my son, apparently when they were fighting, so.
But yeah, and it was really difficult to enter any of the classrooms, especially in the math hallway. You couldn't enter because everyone was just crowding there. And I think it was around like 2 to 3 administrators maybe there. And then everyone was just basically just surrounding them. No one could hear the administrators. And you couldn't get to the class. If your classes were in the math hallway, you just couldn't go and you were now late because everyone was just sitting there like a rock and you couldn't just, it's not like you can just like squeeze past them because they're just gonna push back. Right. I personally couldn't go to my class. I had to wait until the crowd cooled down a little bit to then sneak by.
And something else is with one of the measures taken has been to gate close the bathrooms. So they have like gates that they lock. So you can't get into all the bathrooms during class time. You know, like some like bathrooms, there'll be like one bathroom in the whole school that's open. And then if you go to that bathroom, there's a group of people like huddled in a circle, you know, in the bathroom. So
So you feel unsafe going in there?
yeah,
or- okay.
it's like I don't want to use the bathroom with all these people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've met people like when I'm out of class, and I met someone last week, and they were asking me if I know of any bathroom that's open. I told them the commons bathroom is open, and they're like, I don't want to go there. There's people in there, so that's something.
Well, the other problem with only one bathroom being open and people don't want to go to use it. You now have health issues.
Yes.
That come up.
Yeah.
UTIs and everything else because you don't get to use the bathroom. Yeah.
And another problem is the same people in the bathrooms, you find like the toilet paper and stuff, it's like all over the place. So the water is broken, spilling over. I've seen some stuff like in the toilet, like wrappers and stuff.
Oh,
in the
no.
toilet, so that also needs.
Sometimes we've even had like doors come off, like rip off of the stalls. So you like you can't use them.
Personally, like this is probably just my personal preference, but I've never seen a toilet liner ever, and I don't think we have those, but so that's
Like
why I
a
don't
seat
like to
liner?
use communal bathrooms. 'Cause,
Right.
like,
I always thought they were lobster bits. Yeah.
Shoot.
Only a few days ago, I went to the bathroom at Kentwood. I always avoid that place for those reasons. And I went in there, there was people vaping, people eating, and I went to the only open stall. When I went in, it got more crowded with people vaping until a vice principal came in and yelled at everybody to get out. And she started like banging on my stall, like, oh, please leave. And I was just like, I
Can I put
can't
you in there?
right now. And that was the last time I used Kentwood's bathrooms. I feel like they kick a lot of people out when you're in there because there's so many people that are causing problems. But I didn't have much of a choice because it was just right next to my class. I couldn't walk even farther to go.
So if you're not using a bathroom because of these reasons, are you holding it all day? Are you trying not to drink much so you don't have to go to the bathroom? Like, okay.
Yeah, pretty much.
I used to walk home and lunch and come back.
And go to the bathroom and come back to school. Okay.
To avoid.
Sean and Joe.
My idea or thought passed out of my head.
Joe.
Sorry.
So is there any consequence at Kentwood or Kent Lake for abuse of the e-hall pass? I know if you go over 10 minutes, it turns yellow and all these fun things. I'm just wondering, is there any actual consequence you're seeing? Because I know to go to these places in class, because I know that knowing that some of these students are not just going to vape during passing period or vape during their lunch, they're going to go in class because who wants to be in class? Is there actually any consequences that the school is putting down on the students?
no, because they're all digital now. So if you come in, the teacher has to cancel it themselves. So when it goes past the time limit, it's because you can be there like 5 minutes, but the teacher hasn't canceled the pass yet. So it's more.
I will say I'm guilty of not canceling a pass every once in a while, but so there's no consequences.
Not really.
No.
I haven't seen
That's
one yet.
that's a school level thing though, not a school board thing.
So going off what you had started, the consequences to your being able to have a healthy lifestyle, a healthy situation to be able to study and get a quality of study for yourself. Excess AP classes, yeah,
They're all dehydrated, write that down.
Well, and
Especially to me.
dehydration does not lead to good study.
Although I have,
Because all
Stress?
three of my girls, when they get home, it's like, you can tell when the water's going, because they don't drink during class, because they don't get to use the restrooms.
I have a bunch of students who are always asking me, can I go refill my water bottle? Can I refill my water bottle? I'm like, you just walked at the class. Why didn't you do it then? But I also know they're trying to just get out of class, so.
What else is there? Is there anything else that?
Yeah, I wanted to add on to like the lockdowns. I know there's been a lot of lockdowns at Kentwood. And this creates like a lot of stress, especially like to parents and stuff, like when the lockdown goes like over the school time, like the release time. It creates a lot of stress because you're not supposed to be using your phone, and so there's no way to contact your parents, like I'm gonna be late because we're in a lockdown and stuff. And yeah, I just wanted to say that it's really stressful.
So during a lockdown at Kentwood, are you communicated with of what's going on, or are you just told to stay in place?
We're told to stay in place. We don't know what's going on.
So you don't know what's going on, okay.
And do they ever follow up and tell you what happened?
Usually it's
Towards
very
the end.
anonymous.
It's very vague. The
Yeah,
depth.
you don't know what's going on.
Like, oh, there's somebody with a weapon and that's all we know.
Well, they also have to be vague.
Right.
Yeah.
Then people post like random stuff they heard, but most of the time it's not true.
Right, and most of it's not true, they just want to create the 5 minutes of.
It's just the new version of the grapevine that we had when we were all in school. It's like, oh, did you hear this? And by the end of, by you heard it at first period, by the end of sixth period, it had morphed into, well, there were 42 people here in the school. And it was a drill. Why are we now saying this? So.
So when there's a lockdown, whether it's at Kentwood, like, and they ask you to stay in place, you know, wherever you're at, do you feel safe where you're at in place? Do you feel that there's something better that could be done that we could bring up to the school board? I know you can't share a lot of information during, because well, if Olympia gets what they want, we won't even find out until 48 hours afterwards. So, but what, I mean, the communication, I can understand why they're not saying what's going on, because then that could just create a panic and stuff. But when you're in the classrooms or wherever you're at, stay in place. I saw some of you shake your head, yes, you felt secure, and some felt no. What do you feel that we could pass on to the school board? Well, it'd be nice to just say no more lockdowns because we don't want these issues to happen, but it's going to continue, unfortunately, until we can figure out what to be done. But what would help you feel safer if a lockdown happens?
Maybe have the classroom be safer as well. Have some sort of measure for us.
Okay.
Bulletproof windows.
Oh.
For what? For windows?
Bulletproof
windows.
So when you say safer, what are you thinking specifically, like those types of measures or?
No, actually, I was thinking it would be nice just to like know like where a weapon is, so you can be as far away from that situation. So knowing more information about like who has the weapon and where the chaos is occurring.
Also, usually, well, I'm full-time at Green River, and when there's an alert or anything happening, they keep sending messages. So maybe that's a good thing to think about, both students and parents, because usually they block the contact students and parents, and that makes the parents worried more. So if they send multiple messages during or each 5 to 10 minutes or 5 minutes to parents and students on what's happening or how safe it is, what they should do, that's much better, I think.
I know that we'd have to get we can relay to the board these concerns, but we also want to make sure to hear the side of the police, because they're the ones that are really trying to protect everybody. Because I know when they had the gun at Kent Lake. And even city of Kent police showed up all the way out there, Black Diamond Police, King County, Covington. Maple Valley is part of King County, but there were a lot of, and the gun was actually off campus, but was even loaded, thank goodness.
But it's.
Regan.
Do you have opportunities like this to sit down with administration in your school at all to share these kind of feelings like you get with the city council? Is that, have you ever, whether you've been a part of it or other students, do you know if that happens?
Yes, I'm a part of Kentwood Student Advisory Team where we meet with the school board, I think once a month, but it has not started up again this year yet.
Oh, school year or as of January 1st?
The whole school year.
Oh, wow.
With the school board or with the administration at the school?
School board.
Does it usually start this late in the school year?
No, when I did it last year, we started almost immediately. Same for freshman year, so.
What did you say it is? What?
I think it's called the Student Advisory Team. We recently switched names.
Okay.
And Wade was, oh, go ahead, sorry.
Is the purpose to share these kind of thoughts and things, what your experience is like in school?
We gather information from our students through polls, and then we bring it up to the school board to see and then we also meet up with like Kent Ridge and all the other high schools, Kent Lake, and through team meetings to see if we're all on the same page.
So you've gathered information, but you haven't had the opportunity to share it yet.
No, we haven't gathered it yet either because it hasn't started up at
Just
all.
nothing's happened.
I know they recently sent out an email saying they're going to soon, but I haven't had an update since then.
But is there something within the school, each individual school of yours, where you have the ability to grasp the attention of your school leaders, not just school board?
Probably through email. That's the only.
No. I mean, like physically.
Not that I'm aware of for an in-person
This
meeting.
is the only way you know to protect it before, as far as I know.
So when Kentwood had your student advisory council meeting in the Performing Arts Center last year, Beth.
Oh, that was our constitutional convention.
So, but do you have meetings like that throughout the year with your student advisory council? Not just during Constitution Week, do you have those, or is it only the one time a year you'll do that?
I believe for Kentwood, we're starting our Senate, which is something similar to the constitutional convention where we meet in the PAC and discuss, because there will be a rep from each third period that will represent what the students are thinking.
Does the administration show up for even a short period of time? Because when we were there, I don't remember seeing anybody from administration there during your meeting. I know you want to try and keep it separate because you don't want any influence on what you're doing, but at any time, is it a possibility that they could come in even for a half hour or so to listen?
That would be great. We haven't had our first meeting yet. I believe we're having one this month for the Senate.
in March.
In March. So next month for the Senate. I can bring that up with our activities corner teachers and leadership teachers to see if that would be possible.
Is there a method that your school is using to collect student voice in any way? Surveys?
We have surveys and polls, but that's it.
What was that?
Surveys and polls, but that's it, and they don't happen very often.
Right? Do they give you feedback on what was in the poll and the actions being taken?
No.
Definitely, I know they were doing that, depending on the certain answers given the poll. They would like come back with you and say, hey, we're offering this like meeting, do you want to be a part of it? Where we talk about like things we could do to help you in this like certain area. Like if you answer that you didn't feel safe in schools, they offered a meeting where it's like, well, you're discussing like why you don't feel safe and how we can handle that. But I don't know if Kent Lake does. I don't think Kent Lake does.
So Kentwood's having your first meeting coming up in March, you said. We as counselors, last year, several of us showed up, I think 4 of us showed up, 3 at once, and then we're happy to come and just sit and listen or just show up only if you want us to. And the same, we extend that out to Kent Lake also. So I'm always happy to show up whenever I can to anything. And I know our council members, when we can show up, I know we spend a whole day, 3 days at Cedar Heights speaking with the different classes there, which went over extremely well. So, and I'm happy, if you feel that that would be good, I'm happy to reach out to the principals, Heidi Maurer at, I don't know, who's the principal at Kentwood?
Dr. Ketover.
Pardon?
Samantha Ketover.
Okay, sorry, I couldn't remember, so. But I'm happy to reach out if, but only if you feel just to come and listen, or, you know, we don't want to take over your meeting. But if you'd like us to come and listen or even speak for just a couple minutes, take back ideas, we're happy to do that as well.
I think it would make the students feel like they're actually being heard if more important figures come to listen.
Okay.
So I think that's a great idea.
Okay. But we're not there to speak and run the meeting. We're here to hear your thoughts and things. But now I'm getting off track of what we want to talk to the school.
We were
board.
called important there for a sec.
Yeah. So, was there anything else that Regan or any of you that felt that we should discuss with the school board?
Actually, this is the last thing. Our gym, we don't have sound panels in our gym. So when we do like assemblies, it's really echoey and it's really hard to hear speakers or students speaking on the microphone. We've been trying to get like the some of the other schools like KM and Kent Ridge, they actually have like sound panels. So it's really easy to hear in those gyms. But Kentwood doesn't.
I know that was on one of the levies, but they took it off because of the cost to lower it. I don't know if it got put on this new one or not, but that's a good thing to bring in, especially since both Kentwood.
Increase engagement and.
Yeah. What?
So I've been going to public meetings for a long time and providing feedback, and when you go through kind of a maturation process, as you get older, you realize you want to raise issues and concerns, but you also want to encourage them to keep doing the things that they're doing right as well, because if they don't hear about those, they may not prioritize those going forward. So I'd encourage you to be thinking about, what is going well, because it's also easier, speaking from personal experience, if you're always getting hit, saying you're not doing things right, you get defensive. But if you can lead by saying, hey, you did this right, well, this is really getting better. And could you also take a look at this? So if there are things, it's just a good habit to get into going forward. But in this instance, if there are things your school's doing well, give them a attaboy and say, keep that up. And then they're more likely going forward to say, what else can we work on? So if there's things you want us to raise with the school board that you're doing well, we'd be willing to underline that too.
Can't think of anything right now. Just let Jacqueline know.
Yeah.
Oh, they can think of it right now. What's going well? Everybody say one thing.
There was the gym event. I didn't go, but the package gym.
It was
event,
really fun.
Then it was really funny. I saw like a lot of people went there, right? Like to support people or like athletes that were playing this like with disabilities. Yeah, I really like that.
Was that a carrot?
Yeah, it was at Kent.
We did have the for the that's not important.
Anybody else? Doing well.
At Kentwood, the ASB last year, we organized this and we got approved for funding. Is we put up this giant, this vinyl sticker on the wall, and it's Kentwood brand. I have to show you a picture of it, but we basically made the school look a lot better. Like we have on the front, we have like the Kentwood logo, and we have like the doors. So it just looks really nice. It looks really nice.
I saw that when I went to the wrestling match.
Yeah.
It's so
Yeah.
I want to know why they took down the activities table this year.
I noticed that.
Well, they just moved it because it used to be by the wall where they put that big, huge thing, and we just have to move it.
And
We don't want to have anything on that.
This is true or not, but I heard like rumors that instead of doing the hot cocoa stand, they were going to do lemonade, and
That is true.
that they didn't know if they were actually going to do the candygrams or not.
We can't do ASB can't do. We're not allowed to do candygrams.
Anymore? What happened?
Well, we found out that we're not supposed to do that. Yeah, the district, it's like, yeah, we're not supposed to like do food stuff.
Wasn't
So-
food in our concgrams?
Huh?
We had like ring pops in our concgrams.
Yeah, we weren't supposed to do that.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's better to ask
One-
for forgiveness than permission.
One thing the youth council brought up last year, I don't know if it was during this meeting or if it was brought to a council, is to look into changing the name of the road
Oh, yeah,
coming
yeah.
into Kentwood.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Say, Conqueror Way or Conqueror's Road or something like that. Is that something the youth council or the Kentwood would still be?
Oh, yeah, yeah, we're
Okay.
definitely interested. in
Can't we
that.
do that?
For sure.
Well,
Yeah.
Can
The city.
name a road?
yeah, well, it'd
It's
be
just
the
a-
school district also because
But
it's basically the driveway.
Relays.
Yeah.
It's a
But
light. It's not their light.
so Conqueror Lane, Conqueror Way, Conqueror,
Yeah,
like,
something.
okay.
So we did a lot of work into that and provided that to the students who were pursuing it, but I don't know.
I've never heard anything back, okay.
Well, they graduated.
Yeah.
They graduated, it's like, screw that
I mean,
idea.
obviously it was while they were still in school, but yeah.
No, we should just do
Just
it.
do it.
Yeah.
Just do it.
I mean, we should discuss it and see
Yeah.
what it
Yeah, well.
would take to do.
I mean, Seattle's got streets that have multiple names, you
Oh,
know,
it
it's got the right
is.
name. And it's
The right
regular
name.
And it's got, you know, honorary name, you know. and-
All it says is Kent Lake
Yeah.
that way, or Kentwood that way. But we're out of Kent Lake, it says Falcons Way.
Make that shit.
So,
Well, like say
but I would only, so my request to each of you is when that's done, it would be an honor to have each of you there to do like a ribbon cutting or something. So to show, because it's not us,
Yeah,
it's
come from
You.
you guys, so.
and have, you know, do it before school or after school. We won't do it during school because we don't want people walking off to do vaping and stuff, but
They're all there.
yeah,
They'll be right there. Come on now, why
that's
not?
true. So, we only have a few minutes left. Is there anything else that any of you would like to bring up? I just really appreciate, over the weekend, I was thinking about where the youth council started and where you have brought it, the foundation that you just keep building and building on. And it is just the ideas and the comments that each of you bring forward. It's beyond your years. I mean, we really appreciate hearing what you have because it's a lot of great feedback, great ideas, and where we can move forward on. So thank you. Don't ever let anyone tell you to not speak up because it's very beneficial. So if anyone tells you not to speak up, that means they don't want to listen to what the right thing is. So, all right. Well, thank you all very much. And with that, this meeting is adjourned. We'll start our council meeting at 7.